Hello, welcome back. It's day 2 here at the GG.Bet Beijing Invitational. We have just seen the two best of ones play through. Two very, very one-sided ones, I have to say.
Yeah.
With the first one being a 16-0, Heroic not getting a single round, and obviously the second one being a G2 victory, where they find themselves 16-8 over the one more time side.
Yeah, I guess, well, the first match definitely didn't go to any sort of expectation by any means, but I guess we reached normality or something closer to it, at least with G2 one more time. Doing an adamant job of sticking into it or sticking in there until 10-8, and then it was a bit of a death run from there on out, and G2 managed to close it out. So in the end, I guess that pans out as expected. Now I'm really curious to see if GamerLegion obviously can maintain some of that good form that we saw on Overpass versus Heroic going into this matchup versus G2.
Yeah, so the two teams in this best of 3 will be GamerLegion taking on G2, and I think G2, if everything aligns and the world is normal, they should be the team that take this, right? But yeah, they've got that caveat where they aren't playing with their full roster. Yeah,
it is true. They're playing with Kiyoshima. That was announced earlier today, and also Lucky is still, I guess, being retained by the squad for the time being. So I know that Kiyoshima was mentioned to play in New York as well. I'm just going to assume that that's the case for Lucky as well, even though there hasn't necessarily been a clear statement on what his position within the team is as of right now. But nonetheless, he's playing today, and that's really what matters. And yeah, there's a bit of a caveat around that, but I still think that they did decently all right for themselves, just in terms of how they looked in general form, how they played off of each other on Dust 2.
Yeah, I think I'm going to see this one going to 3 maps, though. I think GamerLegion playing pretty well today. Obviously, back to a full Swedish roster. There is, again, a caveat with this team. You know, that's the thing. They're a revolving door of players. Full Swedish this time, though. Freiburg's in the roster, and I feel like this is a pretty solid roster now with all the names on it.
Yeah, again, it's a ragtag bunch of players, but they've concocted a pretty nice mixture of players in that team. It seems like I guess the core of the team in Nock, Hampus, and Dennis are able to mesh pretty well, and they don't really have too much issues with adapting to whoever they bring in, because we've seen periods with Scream and HS, we've seen Scream ships, we've seen
Existence obviously before.
Existence before. I guess that was the last time they were remotely stable in terms of lineup. We've seen Rusty and Draken, who played last time they played Heroic, and now obviously Freiburg. They've been, I think Freddie B has been in there as well. So
yeah, every Swedish player that's not an NIP or Fnatic has been in this team pretty much.
Yeah, no, it does seem that way. But again, they're finding pretty decent results. Can't really complain about the results that they found now in the first matchup as well. But I do think when we get into best of 3 series versus G2, regardless of how you try to I guess process the veto, right? Like, it doesn't matter how much theory crafting you want to do, you're always going to end up with favoring G2, I think.
Yeah, G2 certainly looked on form today. Their individual stepping up. In particular, Jax, I feel, again, he's really just come out of nowhere, right? He's an older guy as well. It's not like he's
25,
a young talent.
26.
He's around that age, and he's definitely playing so well. And Dust 2 is always a map that he's always going to shine on. I think we've seen that time and time again. And if he can keep that form going on to this best of 3, if you've got Kenny S and Jax playing well, that's a recipe for success.
Absolutely so. It's kind of funny as well, because so many people were not necessarily super surprised, but again, taken a little back by the fact that Lucky and Jax were the ones announced to join G2 back in the day. But I know for a fact that Jax had an offer from Vitality at the time as well that he turned down, and then ended up deciding with G2 instead. So he's definitely sought after, and that kind of tells you how highly the French players value him, and for good reason. We saw that on Dust 2 just a mere minutes ago. So the veto is getting underway. Vertigo and Mirage being taken away. Overpass being the choice of GamerLegion, and then Dust 2 for G2. So both teams get to replay the map that found them success in the initial round.
Yeah, no reason for GamerLegion not to go towards Overpass with a 16-0 win on it. Nuke and Inferno are banned out, and we finish with Trin if we need it.
Yeah. Again, we kind of alluded to this already. Regardless of how the veto is going to end up looking, and now with Overpass, Train, and Dust 2, I'm favoring G2. Okay. Nothing's really changed in that scenario. I think G2 might be able to take it 2-0. They're not a bad team on Overpass by any means. I mean, we saw them at the Major, where they beat Navi, for instance, on that team in an overtime game. So they definitely been around, the map a couple of times and done pretty decently for themselves in that sense. And Dust 2, that's pretty much their go-to. They know that they can feel somewhat comfortable on it, even if it is a map that's just naturally very very prone to upsets. And Train, that is, again, an old G2 classic. So
yeah. But we are just about ready to get in towards Overpass. It is going to be the odds by GG.Bet. It's going to be 2.71 for GamerLegion. G2 favored. Probably the closest odds we've seen so far. So running right in towards the B-bomb site, G2 looked to overwhelm. GamerLegion, something they didn't have to face last game was a bomb plant. Well,
that is actually true.
Well, there we go.
I forgot about that. I was 15 rounds in a row with 0 bomb plants. That was a bit of a rough one. Dennis, though, the pistol master himself, has made his way. A bit of a backstab. He's going to try to pinch through Monster. I'm just going to win out the first duel versus Kyoshima.
Yeah, Hampus dropping Keo. Is not coming back in with Rusty finding Kenny. And all the headshots are coming in from the Swedes. It's on Jax in a 1v3. And it's not going to happen for him. As GamerLegion with the pistol pickup. Should be enough time for the defuse. Freiburg's got a kit, so...
Yeah, so, I mean, if Hampus has messed this up, that would have been...
That would be awful.
A really bad way to start the game. But
wow.
Yeah.
There we go. Milliseconds.
Ice in his veins. GamerLegion get off to a hot start again. Last time they won the pistol, they won 15-0, so... We know where this is going.
Yeah, well, they've not done as well as they had previously. You know, letting the bomb plant go on.
Yeah, okay, the signs of weakness, right?
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, that is kind of ridiculous. But this is going to be a more conservative approach from G2, not forced by. They're going to go with a couple of upgraded pistols, not even a hint of Kevlar. One flashbang, and this is something they used on Dust 2 was just the one flash and upgrade the pistols and see what you can do.
Yeah,
which is quite different to what the old
you're used to. Yeah, absolutely. Normally this would have been full Kevlar pistol. We're running out somewhere already, but it seems like they've simmered down in their old age.
Yeah, they've come to notice that perhaps that style of play is not exactly
as viable anymore. And it's just very true. On the side of GamerLegion, just cool to see them actually being as patient as they were. Again, we're going to probably allude to that a fair bit. The fact that they're not an official 5 as of right now. This is 2 stand-ins. Well, meeting up with the core 3, I suppose, around there. So for them to have as much resilience and kind of patience in that initial pistol round, Freiburg to not just wildly challenge until people are in their places, that's a really good sign for them.
Definitely giving G2 a lot more respect than they were giving their counterparts of Heroic.
I would be somewhat terrified of actually going up against French ecos, though. Or you never know if it's an eco or not, right?
Yeah, that's the mind game, right? Could be an eco, could be nothing, but always the risk. And Jax is going to be the man to run over the top of the truck. Bomb plant coming in yet again, so G2 some extra money in the bank. Their buy next round will be excellent, and we should see an ult come in from Kenny S.
Yeah, that should be very, very likely. Not often you see a completely empty A bomb site like that, and now GamerLegion did a really good job of finding the retake last time around, and eventually it's going to swing into their favor. But Kenny, yeah, he's behind enemy lines. He's picked up an MP9, not the ideal weapon for it, but oh, Rusty. Spider sense is tingling, finds him out eventually.
Yeah, they clear all the possible positions he could be in and realize maybe there's a stone unturned in the toilet. So they go back, have a little look, and of course there's Kenny getting his head torn off. So GamerLegion 2-0, but G2 get a bomb plant, a couple of kills. There's the AWP in the hands of Kenny S. And, well, the T side, they've got the Kriegs in their hands as well. So GamerLegion, this will be their first real challenge of the day. We'll see if they can hold off this buy from G2.
For how long can they remain perfect? That's the big question, right?
Yeah, this is now 18 rounds in a row on Overpass.
All right, time will tell. Kenny's going to run through the Molotov. It doesn't take too much damage for it, so I'm really too bothered. It's also going to allow him to safely secure off long. And look at this aggression. You love to see that out of GamerLegion being super proactive. And that's a sole player. Look, he was the only one around that B area. So fair bit of map control gained, at least for the time being. It forces also Almanac to go back and basically keep the CTs honest. And that takes away a lot of potential firepower, at least towards the A-bomb site.
Finally, Dennis does take some damage, and oh my god, Jax goes back for that and gets the kill. 2 HP to his name, and Dennis perhaps not expecting that. So
yeah, having trust in the flashbang that's being thrown in for him there, for sure. That was needed as well. If Jax goes down in that situation, it's a 5v3. There's nobody really near to set up or a trade frag as well.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, you're looking at a bit of a spiraling situation.
Keo just making sure a connector is free. Indeed it is. Rusty sitting outside of it with 40 seconds left. G2 certainly making it look like they want to go towards the B-bomb site. Keo's just the man clearing and cleaning up the possible areas that they can be exploited from.
Yeah, Rusty does have a pretty good weapon, though, for dealing with this kind of a situation. He's got a SG.
Oh, Jax surely falls
Is he going to
here.
look away, though?
Oh, the timing so bad here, but Rusty looks back, spots Jax, and drops him. But Keo has the info.
Yeah, Rusty does know, though, that Keo was at the top stairs a little while ago. Trades go back and forth. Kenny finds Freiburg after dropping the bomb. But then, again, this buys more time for Rusty. Time's running low. Kenny has to commit to it, and this time Rusty's not going to whiff the SG spray. And honestly, not that difficult of a round for GamerLegion. They just got, you know, the bare minimums in terms of trades, trading 1 for 1 here and there, and away they go.
Yeah.
I think the initial push out into, well, past Monster Tunnel was just so beneficial for them.
They were a very proactive team, and that's something that Overpass is excellent for. It is the proactive plays on the CT side. You can get super aggressive pretty much every round if you want.
Oh, absolutely. Again, that's one of the, if you remember back to the days of Dignitas, right, with Magic Config,
Oh, yeah.
that MSL-led squad, they were notorious for being so aggro on their CT side, just really making it difficult to play with. Obviously, we've seen teams adapt since those days. That was 2016, but there's still plenty of opportunities. I think Dennis was actually one of the players in the first matchup they had versus Heroic, who was constantly up to something on their CT side, like pushing towards bench, seeing if he could get his way into playground, all that kind of stuff. And it really messes with the head of the T's, right?
Because you don't know where they could be, right?
Yeah, and you start to think to yourself, like, well, maybe we have to actually expend more utility than we'd like to just get control over balloons or playground, all this kind of stuff. And when you've done that, only to realize that there was nobody anywhere near, you're like, well, we've kind of messed up our potential power in an execute later on here. And that kind of gnaws on you. It's tough. But nonetheless, it's part of the game, and you kind of have to be able to read what your opponent is doing as well as possible to really take advantage of that. But GamerLegion, yeah, seemingly kept it well enough shrouded, I suppose, at least in the Heroic game, to make the most out of it.
I think GamerLegion is a perfect roster for Dennis to really prove himself again. Because obviously this guy, he was part of that Fnatic team in 2016 that was considered the best to ever touch the game, right? The team that went on the spree, they won Katowice.
6 tournaments in a row.
Yep, and obviously after Katowice, it kind of just fell off the face of the earth, right? They went to the major, they didn't do too well there, and then eventually led to changes. But Dennis was always regarded as one of the better players on that roster.
Well, at one point, without a doubt, really the best pistol player in the world, right?
Yeah. That's exactly what he was
having
for.
Dennis on your team was just like, well, I guess we're winning 2 pistol rounds.
Yep, exactly. And I remember the time when he stood in for Astralis at Blast Copenhagen, because Device was ill, and he did
he played
so well
lights
there.
out. Yeah, he was incredible that entire event.
Looked well in Astralis jersey, Dennis.
I highly doubt Astralis are looking to do some changes as it stands right now. But
Definitely not. Definitely not.
But Dennis, yeah, definitely has extremely high potential. Has always had that. For him, it's all just about finding his comfort spot. Maybe that's going to be with the current 5 that we're seeing in GamerLegion. Time will tell. Nog posted up, and he's ready, and he's expecting there to be a boost here. We'll see if he expects it that far back. No, he doesn't. That's a great shot from Lucky. Not every day you see Lucky being the one to post up with the scout instead of Kenny.
Oh, Hampus. Playing a dangerous game there, but eventually does get away. He is going to be on the bomb site. Default, it's going to be a headshot from Keo landing, though. And that's just unfortunate for Hampus. Now the rest of G2 can start to push in towards the A bomb site.
Oh, okay, well, every shot's landing right now for G2.
Oh, Freiburg in behind, though. They can't exactly plant the bomb safely because he's here, but eventually they will deal with him. Keo with a headshot. It's all on to Rusty. And this is going to be the first round of the day lost by GamerLegion, it seems, as Rusty has to slither away. He's got an AWP, so not the worst gun to save, that's for sure.
Had 19 in a row before they finally met their maker, but in a weird round to do it in as well, right? That was very limited investment on the side of G2. They had an AK on Kiyoshima, a scout on Lucky, and pistols.
Yeah.
That was pretty much it. But they really made the most out of it. I think the deagle on Jax as well obviously came into play there.
Yeah, it was lightning fast. And I think that goes back to what you were saying about having fear in the force buy from G2.
Yeah.
It just
that
has
is
that
a pretty
potential.
terrifying notion, isn't it?
Someone has a force spray.
Oh, who? Good man.
At least from the CT side.
Yeah.
You'd assume so.
Who sprays a lot? Is it Rusty?
I guess we'll have to try and figure it out at some point.
This is it. Yeah, they've sprayed multiple times here. I think there's at least 2 sprays there.
Yep, 2 force sprays.
Somebody's on the hype train. We do appreciate that. Force have definitely been one of the absolute highlights throughout these invitational that we've seen earlier. A team that's very, very entertaining to watch. Yeah,
and a team that has a really bright future, and we get to see them at more events hopefully in the future as well.
Absolutely so. Right now, though, looking for bright futures. That's Knock peering down the scope towards short water.
He's definitely a player that has the potential to be on one of these great Swedish teams.
He's one of the players I was so ready to just join NIP. NIP have needed an offer for about 3.5 years now. Knock finally is a Swedish player who seems like he's not all about that outside of 30-degree angle syndrome that so many of the
or Finnish as well.
Yeah, like that so many ARPers struggle with. Just seemed consistently good and could be an excellent addition to that NIP side. And then they end up picking up Plopsky again. Nothing against Plopsky, young talent as well, but role-wise, it didn't really make a whole lot of sense to me.
That is unfortunate for Dennis. Hiding around the corner, Keo will spam through and connect onto him. He'll be knocking the bomb site, the man we've talked about so much, to see if he can do anything about this push from G2, but it's going to be difficult. He's going up the glass cannon, and Keo, he's dropped Hampus, going back for more. Knock will find a kill finally, but is it enough? Freiburg close in the site, doesn't get a single kill. Rusty doing his best work, but it's Knock, the only player finding any kills here on the CT side. And Rusty, unfortunately, he will not find anything. So Knock with a glass cannon in a 1v3 has to get out of dodge. So see that up again, it will be 4-1.
4-1. Well, no, 3-2. You mean?
3? Yes, that is true.
We're just so used to GamerLegion winning rounds on Overpass.
Exactly.
No, not getting any of the connections. Yeah, Knock being the only one to really put a dent into G2's attack there. One thing we might see change up a little bit there. Obviously, it's an unfortunate start, I suppose. Ooh, that's a bad loss. Knock just at the very tail end, getting found by Jax. That's the off gone.
Every chance of winning this round gone as well.
Yeah, it really feels that way, doesn't it? And it's an unfortunate start for GamerLegion in terms of how that defense broke down. Dennis obviously getting shot through a wall, spammed down by Keo. Not necessarily something you can account for too much of the time, but there we have it. And I think they might be in a position where they need to get a little bit more proactive because they're given a lot of playroom for G2 to get up and set up these executes towards the bomb site.
Yeah, that's something we were talking about them doing so well, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Versus Heroic, it felt like they didn't feel safe about going even out into playground without having to run into some sort of resistance. So we might see that coming up at a later point in the game. For now, though, it's G2 going through the motions, throwing out a couple of nades and whatnot.
Yeah, GamerLegion don't have anything to save, though, in this one, so we'll see what they can do.
I guess they might try to stay alive in the sense that you're not going to feed away money to your opponents or just set up for exits. See if there's a French person who has a hunger for eco-frags and nab his weapon. In any case, though, it's going to be G2 equalizing it all before we see another buy-in from GamerLegion. That is for sure. And while we wait for this round to kind of peter out and play its course, what you guys can go do is basically protect your bet fast and easy. No queues, no business hours, no rejections. Make a bet on GG.Bet.com and insure it with the code SAVE, all capital letters.
Something that GamerLegion could not do in that last round as it ran into Jax. It is 3-3, the scoreline even once again. And we'll move into this next one with G2 building momentum, but we'll have to see what GamerLegion have in store. They're not a CT side that have just sat back and allowed G2 to run over them before, or the T side to run over them before. We'll see if they do it here against G2, though. I'm assuming we'll see some proactive plays for GamerLegion.
Yeah, you'd imagine so. Again, utility also being a little bit iffy if you weren't playing until the later stages. And there we go, Dennis, out and about, finds the 1 kill he wants, and gets at least 1 hit onto Jax to boot. So that puts him in, actually within, one shot range with the M4s.
That was something that Heroic just couldn't do earlier, right? Was get the trade.
Yeah, Dennis pretty much ran amok whenever he went aggressive. So a little bit more resistance being put up here by G2, but you could see GamerLegion are still being very proactive about this, taking over water control. Not going to push that much further out, but again, they could set up Rusty in a similar position as to what we saw in one of the first, in the first buy round. We'll see what comes of it. And again, yeah, much more proactive play already out and about in the restroom area to peer out any sort of G2 players and knock. Alternative way of running into an angle versus an op, but still very, very effective. Kenny is down. Op actually changing the hands.
Let's see if it serves Knock any better, though. It's Rusty. He does find Lucky. And yeah, that is the bomb. Big problem here for G2. They have to try and recover it in a 4v2. Amanek heading his way towards the connector door, but Rusty's in a great position here. Amanek needs to be careful, and the FAMAS peeks up, but it's Amanek who will get himself a frag on that SG.
Oh, Hampus actually had the backstab almost completed through T-spawn, but actually decides to think better of it. Goes back into Underpass. That's not going to be as useful. Freiburg's good for 1, and Knock finally gets the tag onto Jax. So they do survive with 2, and even though Hampus didn't really come into play in terms of getting a frag, at least he had all the information gained for his team that they could possibly want in that scenario. And GamerLegion regained the lead. Yeah,
they do regain the lead, but it's not done yet. Their money's in a pretty scary position. The money in G2 is actually pretty solid, so
yeah,
it feels like GamerLegion are always fighting an uphill battle at this point.
Yeah, no, it's going to be that for a fair amount of time, you can imagine as well, because by the time you get to the stage where G2 are actually running out of their own bank, they're going to have built up a significant amount of bonus rounds. Lost bonus. So, yeah, GamerLegion are in for a bit of a tough one, but they've shown capable of winning rounds on the CT side, pretty much going up against whatever it might be. Their early matchup versus Heroic. Nock's been tagged down to 21 HP, but still very much alive, and that makes him a threat. Dene's being kind of isolated, actually, inside of restrooms here, so he needs to be careful. He's been spotted out as well, and that's an easy kill for Jax.
Easy indeed, and Jax, again, is
leading the charge.
Yeah, leading the charge indeed. He's been playing so well across both maps they've played today. And, yeah, I'm a big fan of Jax. I think he's a very fun player to watch.
Solid from top to bottom.
Looks pretty happy as well. In his picture, a little bit the opposite of Amanek.
Gleeful, yeah.
Amanek looks like he wants to kill you.
Never a good sign.
Kenny looks laser focused and, well, paying off for him. He's got a kill on the Hampus, and the smoke is going to come in towards long, flashbang ready, but Freiburg, he's going to have to try and hold on here as Kenny runs right through the smoke. Kenny was dead either way there.
Okay, so Kenny ran in all by his lonesome. The rest of the team was rotating. Now there's, yeah, all 3 players is on the right bomb site for GamerLegion.
This has to be excellent and perfect for the last 2 players of G2 here, and Jax has to make the beeline for the bomb site. Not going to happen for him. Lucky can't connect anything, and G2 fall flat.
That was a really odd one. The rest of the team is so far removed from Kenny. Kenny fully commits through the smoke to see if he can find another kill. It's already created a massive rotation. There's literally nobody has an eye. Nobody on the server has an eye on what's going on B. Nobody from the T has a late lurk. Nobody on the CTs is expecting a late lurk or a late push, even though they've got very little information to go off of. That became a weird one, because GamerLegion pretty much just put all their money on that being an A hit, and it accidentally works out, because they still commit to it even after Kenny runs through and dies. And there was definitely potential to rotate through Underpass.
I feel like perhaps the time ticking in their head was putting them off that decision, but there certainly was enough time to make it happen. Knock is going to be sitting in the connector. Kenny making the push through Monster. Has a decent angle actually already. He's pretty far up, and they haven't really checked towards him. Missed shot though. Missed opportunity.
Meanwhile, Jax has something to deal with here. That's Hampus. Hampus might be looking to get, well, thrown off eventually, but csgo's going to deal with that pretty quickly. Knock is actually rotated off. That allows for Kiyoshima and Amanek to move out from Underpass. I'm curious to see if Dennis is going to be expecting this. He should have been given the information that Knock has left the position, but he might not expect Amanek to be this far forward.
Amanek just waiting for it. There it is. Dennis, he does hit the deck. And Kenny S starting to make his approach in towards Monster yet again. Can he get it on the second time of asking? Rusty's close, and there it is from Kenny. Smoke still available in his hands, and Freiburg, he's going to be under a lot of pressure as they start to run in towards his position. 2 flashbangs come in, and they're effective. Lucky drops him, and it's all on Knock as the bomb plant comes in. It has to be a 1v4 retake or a save.
Yeah, very likely to be the latter. And even if he wants to do that, Amanek's still on the top of the A-bomb side, just waiting for anyone to back out. Lucky takes some damage, but also puts the fear into Nox. He's going to move around, and this is where Amanek is waiting.
Hard to see it away. Well, actually not anymore, because Amanek's just got
he committed fully
ruined,
around it, yeah. Absolutely wrecked.
Well, Knock, he got off scot-free. Should have died there realistically, but he'll be pretty happy with that. Amanek has no idea what's going on.
You can definitely take that if you can. Still in the lead as well for GamerLegion, but much of a closer contest than what we saw in the first one.
Yeah, money's back in the bin as well for the CT side.
And that is a bit of a rough affair. We talked about how G2 on their end, they would have enough money to, well, consistently rebuy until they got the loss bonus to really set them up for success regardless in that sense. So they would have a pretty easy time of it throughout the entirety of the half here from this point on. Not the case, obviously, for the CTs. They're constantly going to be in an on-off switch kind of a mode where they can buy every other round. Unless they manage to win rounds like this. 2 frags in the favor of GamerLegion early on.
On to the bomb site they go. Lucky is going to be here with the Krieg. Already gains so much control here, but it's still the advantage for the CTs to play with. 2 kits available, so they have time to play with. But G2 have just got to hit their shots when they come in. Problem is for Amanek, he has only 12 HP, so well, this Molotov, if it's landed at his position, will be very difficult, but there goes the Molotov towards Barrels. Nice shot from Kenny. That's going to pull it back into a 3v3 as he's going for more here. Kenny, such a fast shot, and it's Amanek who takes Dennis away, but it's Knock alone. He finds the first kill into the 1v3, but needs more. There's the first. There's Amanek. They line up for him, and Knock pulls it off. Surely there's enough time for the defuse, and it'll be 6 on the board for GamerLegion.
Wow, what a turnaround there. A little bit surprised to see the challenge coming in from, I think it was Amanek down on 12 HP in pit. Might have been better off just playing for time there.
Should have hit it. That is, perhaps he thought that Knock had no idea where he was. But
yeah, it could be that coupling up with, wanting to double peek with his teammate. A lot of questions, really. Also, the first player to, well, the first out of the 2 G2 players in that 2v1, well, that ends up being a 2v1. Curious as to why they want to make the wide swing as well.
Oh, I can't remember. How does that not kill him?
Did a lot of damage though here though. The wide swing here from Lucky does not make a whole lot of sense for me, and then the follow-up from Amanek just
yeah, that
leaves me wanting.
Yeah, mal-played.
Yeah, it definitely felt like a G2 round. But GamerLegion, they're going to be happy about this. This was predominantly Deagles and whatnot that was bought up into the round.
And look what they've done. They've finally chipped away at G2's economy.
Yeah, having to reinvest ops and all that kind of stuff is not cheap.
And they've been winning as well, so that loss bonus is not going to be building. So this is a good chance for GamerLegion to try and extend this lead.
Absolutely. It was turned from a pretty dire scenario, really, to an absolutely golden one in just 1 round. Utility-wise, they are lacking a little bit. As you can see, there's only Hampus, really, that's held on to a fair bit of it with 55 seconds left to go. You do have double ops, though. This is something Avantgarde does really well. On Overpass specifically, and we see Hampus chiming in, same position as Buster plays as well with that op.
Perhaps they've taken a leaf out of their book.
Could very well be. Now then, G2 on their end. The playbook says go long, and long they shall go. Only Kenny S moving up banana here, and he's going to be in a bit of a... It's a really awkward angle for him to try to peek in towards Nox's position, especially because he becomes so susceptible from the bomb side as well.
He's got to rely on his teammates here. Not close by, scoping. He surely hears the rest of the players coming towards him. It's Hampus who takes 1 kill, but 3 come the way of G2. As Kenny looks behind him, he'll connect that shot. And Rusty drops the ball, but that's enough. There's not enough time. Kenny falls, and Rusty, he will pull it off for GamerLegion.
Oh man, that's close. Kenny gets put into such an awkward position there with 4 seconds left on the bomb on the timer. He can't actually go for the bomb plant anymore.
Yeah, he has to make the play there.
Yeah, and running forward with an op, not ideal in any sort of situation.
But if there's a player to do it, it would be Kenny.
Exactly. Oh well, G2 they were presented with a pretty difficult task of actually being to take that A bomb site, but finding the 3-for-2 trades, actually getting up on site pretty early was definitely within a chance there. Quick rotations from the Swedes, though, to handle it nicely. That puts them on 7. That also puts, as you said, G2 on an eco. Their economy is gone for the time being.
Well, Hampus sits back with the XM with a lineup and the crossfire from Dennis. We'll see if they can deal with this. Should be pretty easy for the shotgun to do some damage, but it's the MP9 of Dennis that gets 2 kills. Aminex actually dropped his teammate. So in the chaos, some team kills coming through, but it's Kiyoshima and Kenny S left in a 2 versus 3. G2 looking to do as much damage as possible, but Knock is so quick. That first shot, the second actually landed as well to Kenny. It's a 3v1 here for Kenny S, and he will be spotted coming through the smoke. Knock with a grit double kill, and that will be it on the board for GamerLegion.
Damn. Oh, well. 8-4, GamerLegion getting a pretty solid grip over this game as it stands right now. It was very much looking like G2 were the ones to potentially run away with it. Then a couple of deagle shots from GamerLegion are well connected, and it turns the tide of the game completely. Knock yet again. With that off, pushing aggressively, seeing if he finds anyone bringing up from G2. They've had a bit more of a passive approach towards the playground area, though mainly focused on water control and Monster for the time being, and this is just going to be a direct push, it seems like. Might be just off of contact. Oh. Fortunate timing for the sound cue to go off. Jax is still going to find the first frag.
Well, Jax gets a second as well. Aminek able to back him up, but it's Dennis trying to do his best work as he finally puts an end to the menace of Jax. He's going to start pushing right through, but it's Freiburg that will take that kill. A second from Freiburg. He denies the bomb plant and does one better. 2 more players to find on the T side as G2 try and recover the bomb. Freiburg's still alive, still causing problems inside of the water pit, going for the spam through. And these are the sort of rounds Freiburg pulls off every now and then. And Dennis will grab his kill of the round, but it's still Kenny S, still lurking in the backlines. He finally gets rid of Freiburg, and this time there's time.
Waits it out, see if he finds any sort of movement coming in from Dennis. I think Dennis might have spotted this from Kenny. Avoids the flash as well and deals with it nicely.
Yeah, that was crazy from Freiburg, to be fair. That was unbelievable. He just pushes into the bomb site, denies the bomb plant, finds the second kill as well, and stays alive, which is... Freiburg sort of has those runs every now and then, though, where he just kind of steps up like a beast.
I mean, that's where that's where the famous Anders quote comes from, right? And he does it again and again and again and again. Well, it was fittingly enough on Overpass too, if I'm not mistaken. Well, it seems like it never stops for Freiburg, and he's netted a 9th round, working together with Dennis for that one, and they're looking damn good. Hampus is feeling really frisky here, and that's going to net him a kill as well. Keo not ready for the aggression.
Yeah, he can't handle the friskiness of Hampus, but Dennis able to back him up. And well, the playground has seen a lot of action on this CT side.
Yeah.
Oh my god, he missed a dink as well? That's not lucky.
The parting dink. Just completely, obviously unrelated, but does Hampus remind you of Post Malone?
Yeah, he does. More like
It's like
clean?
the clean version, right?
Yeah.
And then you have the parental advisory version, which is Post Malone with face tats.
Yeah. I think Hampus's beard's a little bit more fleshed out as well. But,
Can we get like somebody to Photoshop some face tattoos on Hampus?
just get the Post Malone face tattoos?
Yeah, see where
I think you can actually buy them as well. I think he's actually got it on his website where you can buy Post Malone face tattoos, like temporary tattoos. So Hampus, you want to do that?
Yeah, just I mean to see where we end up, how close it could be. I'm intrigued. Not gonna lie.
That would be beautiful.
Absolutely. And speaking of things of beauty, Rusty in a very deep position here in Underpass, ready to really deal with anyone trying to move over towards that B-bomb site. And well, he might find Lucky on Almanac. Oh, never mind. He's the one to get found out, and Lucky quickly deals with him. Rotations coming in from the CT side, but they're not going to be in time, I'm pretty sure. Nock is going to wait for the bomb planner to move away from the bomb site. We'll see if Almanac actually obliges. Goes the opposite direction. Freiburg falls.
Well, 1v2. Nock starts to make his way in. He's had some pretty crazy play so far, but this would be a great time for him to step up further. He'll look for Almanac. He's not giving him anything to play with, though, at this point. G2 know they've got to wait for him to come to them. The barrel goes around the corner, and Lucky has got that in his back pocket. So 9-5, G2 looking for a 9-6 half here. And looking at the money, looking at the situation, it's hard to bet against that.
Yeah, and that's a big swing for G2 as well. They kind of dropped the ball a little bit earlier. That started a 4-round spree for GamerLegion. So G2 definitely needs to pick up these last two here to kind of get back into the groove of things. 9-6, yeah, it's a deficit, sure, but you can still work with it. But again, it's those dastardly Deagles that they have to deal with. It's already toppled them once.
Well, Almanac doesn't want to be caught off by anything in Hampus, so the Molotov eventually spreads to him. He thought he got away with it. That drops into 20 HP. He had the smoke out ready to go, and then gets dropped by the nade. So just an awful round for Hampus. He'll want to forget about that one. Push it to the back of his mind, as Dennis is going to go aggressive like he's done so many times before, but this time Jax has his number, and he will take him away. It's going to be a 5v3 here with Rusty, Freiburg, and Nock, left with just Eagles against the full force of G2.
Well, slow and steady seems to be the proceedings for G2, and it's going to net the McKill onto Nock as well. They've got their backs covered, which is also where both the remaining GamerLegion players currently find themselves. So Almanac, I mean, if he goes down, at least it's early warning. Should be pretty easy to deal with for G2 when Almanac handles them both. 9-6, G2 managed to scrap together the last two rounds there to make this more of a competitive half. GamerLegion, again, yeah, not poor at all on Overpass, continuing that good form we saw from the first game versus Heroic.
Yeah, exactly. They're definitely proving to be a good Overpass team, and with this being a brand new roster, right, that's a really good sign moving forward that they've got a home ground they can go to. But here's the odds from GG.Bet. It's going to be 1.51 for G2 to 2.47 on the GamerLegion side. So G2 favorites here.
Yeah, G2 still favorites. It feels like the odds didn't necessarily change that much from what we saw at the very start of it. Actually, a little bit more favored towards G2. But we'll see how long that lasts. GamerLegion are at least not making too much work out of this. Straight into the B-bomb site.
There's no one here at the CT side at all, so it's going to be the retake attempt. They've got a kit and a flash as well, but they're right behind them. Bomb plant coming in. Freiburg trying to get it down, but it will be the push coming in from the CT side. The attempted retake not working though, as all the kills starting to come through. Knocked right through the smoke, gets the first. He gets a second as well, just for bonus. And will be Kiyoshina left into a 1v5. He's picked up the first, but winning this is almost impossible. So I think he might just set up for an exit or two here, wait for GamerLegion to get a bit aggressive, a bit overzealous, and hope to pick off something. So GamerLegion, they find themselves 10.
Double figures right out the gate. Not a bad one at all. Kyo might be able to find himself a little constellation frag, and there you go, Dennis down. Kyo still going to stay alive. And, well, not to be, I guess, too pessimistic again, happily surprised by what we're seeing out of GamerLegion, but if they were to pick up Overpass, it's looking very likely that we would see 3 maps.
Yeah, I think it's pretty safe to say that.
It feels like it sure
has
there
to
is
go
ups.
G2's way, surely.
Right.
But Train is more up in the air because it's not like we've got great operas on both sides, which is really good to see.
That's very true. It almost feels like we've seen more out of Knock than we have Kenny S for a fair bit of this, but obviously Kenny hasn't been without his highlights either. But
Knock does have the added bonus of being on the CT side as well, so
that is true.
We'll see if Kenny can get the AWP into his hands and do magic with it. His AWP obviously famously called the Magic Stick. Here's Hampers taking away Jax. Flash goes through. It's Kenny trying to peek beyond it, but is dealt with by Dennis. Keo and Lucky walking away with kills on the USPs, though. Surely they don't get too much more. They haven't been able to pick up any of the fallen weapons, though. So it's still a very difficult challenge coming their way. Keo has Kevlar. Obviously, he's been able to save that on over it, so if he is to find a weapon, he can maybe do something with it. He's not finding anything just yet, and Knock is putting so much pressure on him that Keo just has no chance. He's been dropped. Amanek in a 1v3, 40 seconds to play with as GamerLegion sprint towards the A bomb site. Amanek has grabbed himself a Galil.
As if he could do a whole lot with it, though. Bomb's going to go down. Well, doesn't seem like Amanek is actually too interested with actually attempting Fate. Doesn't have a defuse kit, doesn't have Kevlar, so I guess you can't really fault him for it. Galil is still better than nothing to bring into the next one. And even if they are to buy up, which again isn't against G2's mantra, then got some money saved at the very least. It allows you to get a little bit more utility and whatnot.
Well, GamerLegion, 11-6. Amanek with the Galil saved over. We'll see what sort of buy we get here from G2. Obviously, there's not going to be enough for an AWP in the hands of Kenny S unless Kiyoshima is the ultimate teammate and sacrifices everything to get that gun. And I don't think that's a very viable option. So he'll go and buy himself the Kevlar, the utility, and we'll see Kenny go on to the M4A1S. And the great thing about Kenny S is he's not just an AWPer, right? He can play really solidly on the M4 as well.
Absolutely. No slash, just over. I guess overall as a player, just very complete in many ways.
Ooh, Amanek, has he bought a kit? No.
No, he hasn't.
So come on, get a kit.
I mean, do you really want to? Yeah, no, definitely. One person should have a kit on that side, and Amanek's the only one with money left.
Come on, Amanek, buy a kit.
Don't be that guy.
Please buy a kit. And, well, he's not done it, so.
All right, then. Well, they're just banking on, well, I mean, if your game plan is to deny GamerLegion from getting anywhere near bomb site, then this is perfectly fine.
Yeah, then there's no problems. But if they lose on a 10-second defuse, I'm done.
Well, we'll see what players have in store for us. GamerLegion, for the time being, get a short control really quickly. Not contested as well. Going to boost on top of the sandbags here.
I love this play.
Yeah, might be able to peer 1 or 2 players, but yeah, the second it fades, you're
gone.
Yeah, bit of a target.
Yeah, definitely a goner at that point, but Rusty will get lucky back, so we're still even.
Kyushima actually just taking a significant hit through the wall as well. Down to 36. It does weaken the defense too. There is still 3 players from G2 over towards the B-bomb side of the map, but definite opportunities here for GamerLegion to get stuff done. All right, I was about to say Jax nearly messed up the timing of when he could actually go for that jail jump, but turns around in time, nets the kill, man advantage back with G2.
Seconds to play with here. Bomb needs to get somewhere, and it seems like the A bomb site will be its target. Kenny realizes the possibility of this A attack, so it's rotating back up from that lower bomb site. or at least closer to it. And Amanek is just waiting for the info. He spots the utility coming on, and he knows it's going to be a final hit in towards the A-bomb site. He's calling for his teammates to come and help. Bomb plant still not coming through just yet, but Rusty will connect on the Amanek. That pulls it right back. Bomb plant's coming through on the truck, and it cannot be denied. And so it has to be a retake here. G2 looking for a way back in. Again, they don't have a kit, so they've got to move quickly. And Jax has dropped Freiburg. It's going to be a man advantage for G2 yet again, but they've got solid post plants here at GamerLegion. Tapping the bomb, it's going to be a full 10-second defuse. Again, they have to go for this. It is going to be the peak from Jax and Kenny. They find the kills, and there is time for the defuse. So 11-7 as G2 get another on the board.
Now then, G2, is this where you're going to make your mark on the game and start coming swinging back into things? There's an opportunity here to have a rebuy on the side of GamerLegion. Would have a couple of AKs and whatnot, and it seems like that's what they're going to opt in for as well. Freiburg's actually going to drop an op for Knock. In return, he gets an AK. Knock is going to be rocking that glass cannon going into this one. Utility-wise, they are, well, about as bare as you can get. 3 flashes and a single smoke. They're going to have to rely heavily on just finding Obit and picks or catching somebody on the side of G2 off by surprise. It might be a little bit of a tough task.
It's always horrible looking at a T side with so little utility at the beginning of a round, so they really have to rely on the abilities of their players to find these aim fights. Even then, G2, with their utility, will put them in a better position to win those as well. So things are definitely looking pretty rough for GamerLegion, but we'll see if they can make it happen. They've got the AWP of Knock, so they can set him up somehow to find that opening pick for them. That does give them a solid chance here. 1 minute on the clock, though. Flash goes in towards toilets. Hampers clears it. He's trying to encroach on that A bomb site, trying to get some more control towards that side of the map with Freiburg holding outside B. No one coming towards him just yet, but there is a player in water that Freiburg needs to be careful of. Jax is just holding for this aggressive play through the tunnel, and Freiburg, he has to be ready for it. He's not going to check it. Jax is going to take it, get the info, there's no one else there, and G2, they've got the advantage to play with. Oh, Kenny, he's going to get shot up, but he's dropped to 21. Not enough for death, I'm afraid. If you're Knock, should I say. And so the pressure is coming in towards the A-bomb site. 20 seconds left. Keo and Kenny, they've also got Amanek here, so it should be pretty difficult for the T side to get close to the bomb site. But Knock right through the site. The boxes itself, and Kenny topples. Not going to 1v3 though. This is not going to be easy.
Really is no armor as well, right? So every bullet's just going to send him flying, crosshair-wise, and Jax deals with it. Second frag of the round. 8 for G2 now, and they can start a bit of a comeback here when he's not looking too good on the GamerLegion side. And I mean, this would be quite the steal for G2 if they can fight back into this. Look at Jax once again. We saw it on Dust 2. We're seeing it here on Overpass as well. He's having a fantastic day. 22 frags to his name.
Yeah, Jax has been incredible throughout today. And if he can keep this up, well, certainly going to be taking that sort of second or even star role of G2, because we usually talked about the 2 big names on that roster being Shox and Kenny S, but with Shox going, that makes a lot more space on the team. Jax could certainly fit that role. Kenny in behind the boxes on default, waiting for someone to walk into his crosshair. It's definitely one of the most dangerous places to be, but it's Amanek with 2. Very cool, calm and collected. Leaving Knock in a 1v5 with just a Glock. And Amanek will take the quad kill. So 9-11, G2 on the CT side starting to build up round after round. It's been 3 in a row, and we'll move into the next one with GamerLegion finally having a better buy. Again, it's not perfect, but it's better than they've had in the previous.
Yeah. So you swap out the op on Knock in favor of having a little bit more utility. I think you could do more with that on the T side of Overpass as well. We'll see if it's going to be enough, though. There's a significant lack of smokes here. There's a lot of Molotovs, but they will run out pretty quickly. And again, now it becomes a case of seeing if GamerLegion actually can deal with getting map control when they don't have everything at their disposal. And I guess one thing that is a little bit in the dark for us is the fact that we haven't been able to see too much of their T side.
Yeah.
Because, well, they 16-0'd Heroic, and they got 15 rounds in a row on their CT side.
They literally played one round that was a pistol.
Yeah, and that doesn't really give you the whole picture, does it? So, GamerLegion still have something yet to prove, and G2 on their end. Well, we know that they can play solid CT sides. XQ comes in towards B. Kenny still in position here to fire off some shots, maybe get the first one up. That's Rusty just playing with fire. Oh, Lucky and Ominix playing tag team, and this is going very well for the French side.
Very well indeed. With Dennis on 4 HP, he should fall very quickly, and Amanek is just following him. He will eventually drop him in when he leaves Hampus on his own towards short. Jax will check that and drop him as well. So 4 in a row for G2, 11 to 10. GamerLegion is still in the lead, but that should be changed very quickly as G2 have got the far superior buy. The odds pretty similar again. I mean, they aren't really changing a whole lot. This is for the winner of the map, brought to you by GG.Bet. 1.54 for G2, 2.37 for GamerLegion. And, well, it's going to be a little bit of a buy here in terms of a slight amount of utility. Some players are starting to go with Kevlar and a couple of upgraded pistols here and there. But G2, they really should be the team to walk away with victory in round number 22. There are some crazy fans in CS that decide to show their die-hard loyalty to the team they support, and they'll get a tattoo on their body, right? I feel like G2 is probably one of the teams, if you're going to get a tattoo of any CS team, their logo is a decent tattoo.
It's not a bad one, right? The samurai head?
Yeah.
It's not half bad at all. There's definitely a couple of logos I would never, ever even consider getting on my body in that sense.
Which ones would be the no-go then?
The biggest no-go?
Yeah.
Oh, God. Where do you even start? I guess it might be easier to find things I would find potentially compelling rather than the not, I guess.
Tyloo's okay. It's kind of cool. Like, if you kind of got a different version of it, if you made the dragon slightly more realistic.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, it's pretty easy here for G2 as they rack up all the kills and get themselves 11. The scoreline is once again even, and we currently stand only a few runs away from the end of this first map. Will it be a GamerLegion win though? It's still yet to be seen. With G2 building up so much success, it could easily fall apart for the T side on their map pick.
That's very true. There is a pause coming in, tactical timeout to talk things through. GamerLegion kind of needs to get a better understanding of how they want to approach the map and how they want to move forward without getting picked apart before they even get close to the bomb site. Keep in mind, the 2 rounds that they've gotten so far in the second half has been off of a pistol and the following Enta-Eco. And since then, it's been all about G2.
G2 are playing pretty good for not having, like, the roster they want. It's been pretty impressive. I think Kiyoshima is going to be a player that you can just slot in, though, and he'll be able to do a role pretty effectively. I think he's so used to doing that that he's just an expert at it.
Kind of been his calling card for the entire career, yeah. That is very true.
It's almost kind of weird that Kyo is always sort of in the wind, though. He's never really found a home for a long time, and there's going to be a fast B-rush, and Amanek deals with it. He's got 3 kills.
Just so you know, everyone at home, that was a buy round.
Yeah, that felt like an eco. And GamerLegion, if you're thinking, oh, wow, a tactical pause, they must be coming up with some mastermind play. They come up with a B-rush.
Yeah.
And it ends like that.
A bit unfortunate, obviously, the whole situation surrounding it for GamerLegion. The fact that it is the one round where you see the early Molotov, you see the pop flash coming in, and with a wide swing from Ominix. Not necessarily been something that G2 have done every single round, but
perhaps they got a read of it.
Could be again, right? The double mind games. They took a timeout. They want us to think that they're doing something slow and really meticulous.
Yeah, or maybe they know we're playing double up setup. Why don't they just hit us with a fast play? Yeah, definitely a nice shift up from G2. And Nock is in a very difficult position here. In a 1v4, he's the ace clutch to come in. 36 seconds left on the clock to play with as he starts to make his way through on towards the A bomb site. Close by. Oh, lucky. He will take it. And that will be a 12-11. 6 in a row for G2. When things were looking good for GamerLegion, you know, they had a bit of a lead. You really start to think, yeah, they're going to take Overpass here. We're going to see 3 maps. But with the way G2 have stepped up across the board here in the last 6, it's starting to look very likely we might see G2 take away this one. Money is invulnerable at this point for G2. It is so strong.
Yeah, it is. It's getting a little bit out of control, isn't it?
G2 are going to have to... sorry, GamerLegion are going to have a lot of work ahead of them to try and just break that economy. That's hard in itself.
Absolutely. And well, GamerLegion now obviously don't have too much of a chance of being able to do much, barring Freiburg whipping up some magic with that Krieg. G2 looking primed to actually steal away the map pick of GamerLegion as we're looking at it right now. Going into Dust 2 as a second. Might be in for a 2-0. Time will tell though. GamerLegion not necessarily running into any sort of crazy situations here, even with the half investment. Kenny drops the smoke, bails out. Omnic is going to be the first to fall though on the G2 side. That's Rusty getting the better of him. Down to 11 HP though, but a frag's a frag. Bomb right now is kind of dropped in the middle of nowhere for GamerLegion. So this makes me think that they're going to fake towards the E-bomb site, run back through Underpass to pick up the bomb, and see what can happen. Actually, no, it's going to be Rusty to join up with the rest of the team. It's still going to be very late, though. So plenty of time for G2 to adapt to this.
Well, if you're GamerLegion, this is one of the best chances you're going to get. Low time, though. They're going to have to try and get in towards the bomb site as Kiyoshima is in a pretty prime position to deal with this if they go for the default plant. 10 seconds. He's going to be lucky with the headshot. Freiburg, he's going to be drop kill lining them up, though. He's got a great kill. Bombs on the floor. That's it. Job done. No chance for Nock. And it's 13-11. G2 hold on yet again for their 7th straight round.
There we go, and it's just looking more and more like G2 have found the recipe for success here. GamerLegion unable to really get anything going in their weapon rounds as soon as G2 have some sort of weaponry utility to their name. Well, it's hard to see what they can actually come up with to change the tide of the game right now. As you said, G2, they're definitely playing well off of each other for not having a set 5 lineup to play with. Not bad at all, and Molotov's actually going to prevent GamerLegion to getting out towards Playground just entirely. All right, Freiburg, that's a good start. Finds Jax in the battle for short position.
Well, Lucky backing off, leaving short a little bit open. He's going to go back for more, though. He wanted to fall away, perhaps expecting a monster push, but in fact he is going to have to turn his attentions towards the short position. There is a player lurking around that area. There's Rusty, but still over a minute to play with GamerLegion. In no real position to have to commit just yet. They want to try and feel out the rest of the map, get some more information, but finally Lucky is rewarded for his patience. It's Freiburg who walks right in towards his crosshair, and man advantage is available yet again to G2, or pull back into 4v4. 40 seconds left. Time is ticking. 35 seconds. Eventually they've got to go here. GamerLegion certainly telegraphing they want to hit in towards the A-bomb site. They've got utility available on the rest of the players. It'll be smokes and Molotovs heading on in. Samanek that will take away Rusty, hiding in the corner, looking good for G2. Peeks on again, Amanek going for more, but it's Hampus that burns away Lucky with the Molotov. Dennis grabs one, make it 2 for Dennis as Kenny S is left in a 1v2 clutch. 2 low HP players, there's the first. And for a second I thought they were going to line up.
You started to believe, right? It's that classic example. Kenny S turns into Neo, and all of a sudden
they just line up and time slows.
Well, that becomes very chaotic towards the end of it. GamerLegion do scrape back one round, though. As I said, it's 1st and 7.
Yeah, it's been a while.
It's been a while, and it was definitely needed. Question is, though, if they're going to be able to maintain it. We already said this a couple of rounds ago, but G2's economy obviously was looking pretty damn nice. And it doesn't really change from that point on. Even after buying here, it's only really Omnic who's in a position where he can't buy up all that much. G2 should be feeling pretty damn confident.
Smokes goes down from middle. Dennis in behind it. Rusty is going to get Dennis boosted up on top. And Dennis is looking through the window. There's no one there, though, on the CT side. So that's information in itself if he doesn't see anyone. Kenny S looking over the top of the smoke, peering down towards middle to see if he can spot anyone. And he's not going to be gifted a kill just yet. Long seems to be the place where Amanek wants to get aggressive, spots Freiburg, goes over the flashbang but doesn't overcommit. He's waiting for Freiburg to walk around this corner. There's no one else there for Freiburg, so he has to try and stay alive as the rest of his team start to push up in towards the site. Freiburg eventually wins the fight and gets another one as well with the UMP as Nock burns alive Kenny S, and these A executes have started to get much better from GamerLegion. Whatever they sort of talked about and sort of figured out the problems, certainly working.
Absolutely doing so. G2, though, are they going to let this slip at the very end of it? They were looking so good. And for what bank they had, again, it's going to quickly evaporate on the CT side. Lucky and Jack's obviously looking to just stay alive for the time being. But they need to make a mark. GamerLegion going to make it back up to equal footing here, 13-13.
So the score is even. Now for a moment there, it was looking like G2 were in prime position just to sort of take it all away.
Yeah. And when what's not even right now is the odds coming in from GG.Bet, favoring G2, which, to be fair, they've done the entirety of the game, but GamerLegion just having no quit in them.
Yeah, they just will not give up. They defy the odds, it seems. But it's not over yet. G2 could just break the hearts right here. That's the sad part. It's definitely hard to call, though. This would be one I'd be a little scared on making a confident prediction in saying who's going to be the winner. I'm certainly going to have to stick with my original one and just say G2. You can't change through a game, can you? You can't really do that. So I was going to stick with G2. I feel like eventually they'll adapt to what GamerLegion are throwing at them. It took a long time for GamerLegion to figure out what to do towards that A-bomb site. There was times where they were walking in, just running out of time, where they were losing all the aim fights. Yeah. This time they've got a pretty good execute going on. I feel like every time they've done this execute, they've at least got one kill off the back of a Molotov.
Gotten something for it, right? I guess the worrying part is, though, like once G2 are able to muster up a defense or something that makes sense to combat what GamerLegion are throwing at them, how long is it going to take for GamerLegion to really have something new to go to? Obviously, they don't really have the cushion of 7 rounds to let G2 just sprawl around with. Forward positioning here, Kenny waiting so patiently. Going to get flashed off the angle, but Amanek.
Oh, this is such a nice setup from them both, though. Kenny takes the first shot, but doesn't land it.
So wide, though.
Yeah, that is very wide indeed, but Amanek is going to have to try and hold, but he doesn't get a single kill. Even though it was a great setup inside of the toilets, it doesn't reap any rewards. So GamerLegion, this will be pretty easy for them to take the A-bomb site. It's on the G2 to either save all the weapons or go for this retake attempt. With Freiburg taking that headshot, that should be the slap on the wrist that should force G2 back in towards the B-bomb site.
That is a bit of a disaster. And again, it's not necessarily the set execute from GamerLegion that's working. Obviously, they do a good job of double peeking into angles they're expecting G2 players to be in, but Kenny goes into a really wide angle. I'm not sure if the idea is that he wants to catch someone that he can assume is on the corner before they swing and therefore get a drop on him, or what the case might be, but misses a shot that you'd imagine he would be able to hit more often than not.
It's definitely unorthodox to see him in such a strong position and just not get a single kill for it.
Yeah. Obviously, like a very different situation as to how his teammate can play it out as well if he's able to net the first frag, even if he does get traded. So G2 just kind of falling apart there at the tail end of it, and the buy that they could potentially get here is interesting. Obviously, Lucky has enough to, well, he's got the op in itself that's going to be dropped over to Kenny. He's got enough money to buy for himself, and I think he also can drop comfortably to Amadik as well. So it should be a full buy on the CT side.
Yep. They just got to lead. Oh, double lot setup. All right.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, interesting. Keo can drop, but just takes a hit on utility.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah, well, I mean, if they feel confident in Lucky's secondary opping, that's one way you can go about it.
I'll be interested to see who's doing the calling on G2 at the minute. I'm assuming
was that Amadik?
Yeah, Amadik. Yeah.
Yep.
So I don't know if this is something that Amadik will have called, or just something that Lucky says I can op and
just
I want
pressed
to do it.
F3 and it was like, well, guess I'm opping now.
Yeah, because I think if you do leave it to your team a little bit, or leave it to your players sometimes, if they feel confident in that decision, then maybe it's enough to get them over the line.
Yeah.
We'll see if it works, though. It is definitely risky, but sometimes in these desperate situations, it does call for desperate calls.
Desperate calls, desperate means, desperate everything, and there's not a whole lot that G2 has to play with here. GamerLegion one off of, at the very least, securing themselves overtime, but again, sitting on map point, feeling pretty damn good about that. It's not like their money is supreme by any measures. Nox sitting at $150 as of right now, reinvesting into ops and whatnot. Rusty not that flush with cash either, so we could get into a scenario where they have to make the hard call of whether they want to let G2 get to map point or if they want to force into it to see if they can bring it back right away. As it stands as right now, though, G2 heavily banking on this double op, and Jax goes down. He was all by his lonesome out on short. That's an odd one.
Yeah, it's one of those Jax plays that can sometimes be incredible, but it falls a little bit flat that time. Amanek, he will get one kill, but Rusty answers back.
I think you just save here. Yeah, you save. Again, super weird to see both ops actually going over towards the A bomb side. There's no reason for Kenny or Lucky to be around this area.
Yeah, these two ops, they're going to have to be saved. Obviously, it's impossible to retake with this, so have to get this into the next one. There's not going to be a whole lot of money available here on the CT side. It's realistic that we see GamerLegion walk away with Overpass here.
Yeah.
Best chance of doing it.
Would be a fantastic get for them, winning their map pick over G2 and going into Dust 2. Who knows what could happen? Obviously, it's a very strong map for the French, but
we have said many a time that it is a map where upsets can happen.
Absolutely. So happens to the best of them, and they will at least carry over the two ops here from this round, but it's not going to be a massively impressive buy, is it? Lucky has the opportunity to drop again, and Kenny's obviously going to have to do the same. We're going to have either UMP or a FAMAS coming out, depending on what kind of utility that you want. We'll see here. Scoreboard. Freiburg fragging out, sitting at 18 frags. The top of the scoreboard. Pretty even fragging all across the board, really, from the side of GamerLegion.
Yeah, it was a team effort earlier, and it seems to be a team effort this time as well. Kenny S. Oh, a nice shot. Connects on towards Knock. Man advantage for G2, and those ops have to have impact. Good start for them.
Finally going something in the way of the French. Start us off. Oh, needs to go out. Hampus. Oh, nearly gets the drop on Keo. Keo quick to react there. So, 2-man advantage. GamerLegion. Well, they do have money to play with, at least, seeing how they won the previous round, so yeah, no real reason for them to try thinking about saving, holding on to weapons into the next round, anything like that.
It's all about just getting rid of whatever G2 have, because
exactly,
their money is in a pretty sticky situation.
Absolutely so. We'll see how far they appear out, how much damage they can do, and who's going to be the one to lead the charge. Bomb just getting retrieved.
What?
Dennis actually wins out that. Keo was on low HP, fair enough, but So expecting Dennis to at least take a little bit more damage for it.
Yeah, for sure. That was very well held from Keo. You almost expecting to walk away with that, but Dennis very quick, impressive stuff, but it's not done yet. GamerLegion 3v4, it's still doable here. G2 have to just hold on as best as possible. Jax spots Rusty's feet, but no one's falling just yet. Eventually, the ball will hit the deck as Jax has to do a little bit more here, but he's not able to do so. Dennis will take him away, and it's a 2v2. Missed shot from Lucky. That might just come back to cost him the whole game. But luckily, Kenny will come in, and Lucky picks up one on the P250. Chaos on the B-bomb site, but it's 15-14. We've gotten the distance. Will it be bonus rounds?
Very well could be at this stage, and that felt super dicey from Lucky, though. Such a big...
when you miss that, you almost feel your stomach sink.
Exactly. It was like, that should have been such an easy kill. And then, well, you don't really have anything to to come back with. Yeah, get dinked up. You have to stand there with a pistol firing away, hoping that you're going to be able to connect. And if you don't, you might have given away the map, more or less. But we'll see. G2 getting a better buy-in this time, and also plenty of utility to fight for survival.
Sticking with the double up setup that's got them this far. We'll see if it is the winning piece for them. Spam coming through the wood. It looks like they want to go for a bit of a boost here. Well, at least Hap is getting in position for it. Not quite calling on it just yet.
No, they have gotten water control, but they seem to be perfectly content with that. Bomb's going to get dropped back in T-spawn. Very, very far back. Positioning on GamerLegion's end, and well, wait, maybe they're expecting G2 to do something crazy in what is the last round of regulation. Not to be the case, though. Flashes and everything go out. Omnic actually runs into the Molotov. He did that before the flash came out, so he knew what he was doing. Not going to really work out that well for them. 2-for-1 trade. GamerLegion favored.
Well, Hampus gets one, but Keo steps in with two. Dennis will put him to bed, though, so it's all on to Lucky. A 1v2 retake with the AWP on the B-bomb site. Close to landing the shot on Dennis, but it's not close enough. He'll start to make his way through, but they should know that he is in this general area. With not close, Dennis up on top. This is going to be so difficult. They peek him together. It's going to be Lucky on the P250, though. One more kill. That's all that's needed. And Nock finds it on to Lucky. 16-14 for GamerLegion, as they will take their map pick, but super, super close.
Super duper close indeed. And that game could have swung in so many directions. Could have gone to both teams at any given instance there. We had strong start for GamerLegion. Again, followed up by an even better response from G2. Then they kind of dropped the ball versus Digalico. That sets up GamerLegion to be pretty much running away with it. Just keep swapping back and forth. And in the very end, yeah, it is GamerLegion to bring it back from what was a very solid run from G2, 7 rounds in a row. At that point, I kind of figured this is a similar scenario to what we saw in Dust 2, where they just kind of decide that enough's enough. We're heading into map 2 with a map win. But no, well deserved from the Swedes. They keep surprising.
Yeah, quite the juxtaposition from our first two games this morning. We had a 16-0 and a 16-8, but a very close affair ending 16-14 on the first map. But it's not done yet. We have got another map coming up after the break. It's going to be G2's map pick of Dust 2, so make sure you stay with us.